Hello all. Once again, welcome to the video series on memory management operating system. In the last video lecture, we discussed about the memory management techniques with respect to allocation, such as non-contiguous and contiguous. In non-contiguous memory allocation, we talked about paging, and segmentation with paging. In today's video lecture, we are going to talk about the concept of virtual memory and what you mean by demand paging. So let's start with the presentation. So as I said, today we will be talking about the concept of virtual memory. In line with virtual memory, we will also discuss what is demand paging, what do you mean by page fault, and finally, in this particular series, we will also be talking about performance of demand paging. First of all, let us try to understand what you mean by a virtual memory. Virtual memory means the memory which is not in existence. What do you mean by that? For example, if you just talk about the types of memories, the primary memory and secondary memory. Essentially, the primary memory is actually used in order to load the active instructions, and accordingly CPU executes those instructions. But when the instructions or the program size is larger than the available physical memory or the main memory, then it can actually hamper the execution of that particular program with respect to CPU. So in order to address this particular limitation, the other type of memory which is devised is called as virtual memory. So essentially, virtual memory can be used in order to execute the program of capacity which is larger than the available main memory size. Now, from where this particular virtual memory will come? Obviously, it will be nothing but the part and parcel of your secondary storage, which will be acting as if it's a memory for you in order to execute your current instruction. It allows to execute a program which is partially in the memory, and this is implemented by use of, or rather by making use of, a very important concept, that is demand paging. Swapping we have already talked about in my previous video lectures. So here we will be talking about in this particular video lecture on demand paging, and the next lecture I am going to talk about the page replacement algorithms, need of page replacement algorithms, and which algorithm will be more suitable in order to measure the efficiency of the execution. So what do you mean by demand paging? Demand paging is the concept which uses swapping but on demand. What do you mean by that? Whenever a demand comes for what? Demand for the memory, it loads the desired page into memory. It swaps only the desired page into memory instead of swapping the complete program. Now, if your program is made up of maybe n number of bytes, so at that particular moment of time, which byte is required to be loaded into the main memory, only that byte which is mapped with the page will be loaded into the memory. So there is one concept which is called as lazy swapper. Now, why it is called as lazy swapper? Because this is a program with which only the page which is required at that moment of time will be swapped into memory. And that is why it is called as a lazy swapper program. Some more terms in line with demand paging. We talked about what is lazy swapper. Soon we will be talking about what you mean by page fault, how to calculate the effective access time of that particular byte or the page from the memory. Then, as I mentioned in the further video lectures, we are going to talk about the concept of page replacement algorithm and thrashing. What do you mean by page fault? Page fault means the desired page which is required for that particular moment of time from the execution point of view is not available in memory. Such a scenario will end up into page fault. So when a demand comes for a page which is not available in memory, then page fault occurs. Obviously, it is called as page fault because the execution of that particular process or that particular task or that particular program is halted. Why? Because the desired page is not found into memory. That is why this scenario is called as page fault. Here we will see some kind of examples with which we will try to understand exactly how this page fault occurs. So first of all, let us see in this particular image, There are two representations of memory which are shown, logical memory and physical memory, which we have already discussed in my previous video lectures. So you can see the logical memory here is divided into certain pages. There are 6 pages which are shown in this particular image, and you can see the memory addresses, memory location addresses starting from 000, and then you can see on the other side, you can see the representation of physical memory, that is your main memory, which is again divided into certain frames, and all the frames are mapped with certain pages. Now, in order to understand this mapping, the topic, or rather the concept of page table, which I have already told you in my previous video lecture, the page table essentially is shown here with two fields, page number and the frame number. Along with that, there is one more field. I can just explain you here. That is nothing but the bit, valid, invalid bit. Okay. Now, what do you mean by that? I will tell you now. First of all, let us see that these 0, 1, 2, 3 are nothing but the index number in this particular page number, which are mapping with the page in this particular page table, which are mapping with the page numbers. Okay, so these are nothing but the page numbers, and these page numbers are actually mapped with the frames in the physical memory. So as an example, you can see this page number 0 is mapped with frame number 2. You can see here. So these are nothing but the index numbers of your physical memory, which are showing you the frame numbers, right? So here the frame number 2 is mapped with page number 0. Okay? You can see here from this 0 is mapped with 2. Let us take one more example. Page number 2 is mapped with frame number 4. So here you can see this frame number 4 is mapped with page number 2. Right? So this we have already discussed, that page table is a special data structure which is built in the memory in order to understand the mapping of the page with the frame. Now, what is the use of this special bit field which is associated in this, like to the every entry of your page table? Let us try to see. Now, there are two bits which are represented here. V stands for valid bit, I stands for invalid bit. Now, what do you mean by valid bit, and when it will be set as V and when it will be set as I? If you look at an entry having this bit set as V, for example, the first entry, page 0 is mapped with frame number 2. Okay, so if you see the physical memory, you can see the mapping which is done here successfully. So this particular bit is called as valid bit, because you can see that the frame number 2 is mapped with page number 0. But if you see other entry in this particular page table, for example, the second last entry, you can see the page number 6. Okay, but there is no frame which is mapped to this particular page number 6. So whenever this particular page will be required by this particular process, then you can see that the frame is not mapped for this particular page. So such entry will be signified, or will be noted, will be mentioned in the page table as with invalid bit. Okay, why? Because for this particular page, the page number 6, there is no frame available at this particular moment of time in physical memory. So that can be depicted with the special bit with the mention I. Okay, so these are the two bits, valid bit and invalid bit, right? Now with this knowledge, we are going to discuss what do you mean by page fault and how operating system handles the page fault. Let us try to understand this concept of handling the page fault in demand paging with the help of this simple diagram or simple image. Here in this particular image, I have mentioned every step with the help of serial number. Okay, so essentially I'm going to explain you this concept in line with the sequence of these numbers. So let us try to understand this by understanding these different steps first. Now, the instruction which is going to be executed, rather the CPU is going to execute that particular instruction, will be loaded into the memory. Okay, so this is the instruction. First instruction, load M. M is nothing but load memory with the desired instruction. Now, this is step number 1. If you see step number 2, now when this particular instruction is wanting to load into the memory, the desired page, okay, the desired page is not able to map with the frame. It means there is no frame available for that particular page. That is why that page is not loaded into the memory. So now operating system has to trap some error, because that instruction is wanting that particular page in order to proceed with the execution, but that particular page is not available into the memory, right? So that will be first of all understood with the help of this I bit, that is invalid bit. That is step number 2. Let's proceed further. In step number 3, operating system has to find that particular page first, which is required by that particular instruction for continuing with the execution. So that page will be searched by operating system, obviously in the secondary storage, that is your hard disk. In step number 4, once that particular page is found in the disk, once that byte is located in the hard disk, right? Then what is the next thing operating system has to do? Operating system has to find the free frame in order to map that particular page with the frame, right? So in step number 4, that particular missing page will be rather found a desired frame, right? In step number 5, whatever frame is found for that particular page, the page table will be updated. Why? Because now this particular page will be mapped with the desired frame, right? With the available frame. So accordingly, this entry need to be changed. So this entry of this particular bit will change from I to V, that is valid bit. Why? Because at this moment of time, operating system has searched that particular page and mapped that particular page with the available free frame. So the page table entry will be updated with this particular new record, okay? And then this interrupted or halted instruction will start its execution again. Okay, so essentially these are the 6 different steps, okay, through which we can understand how a page fault occurs, in what scenario it occurs, and how it is handled by operating system, okay, with the help of this demand page. So here we will stop. Please stay tuned for my next video.